session of hand reading here. You can see we've got a Poker Tracker 4 open up in front of us here. So we are going to start up. So we're going to start up day 46 of 66 days in a row of hand reading. You can see right here is the last one that we did recently where we were successful in hand reading the villain's range. So once more, because I screwed up 3 times for villain's ranges, the day 45, we nailed it. We successfully ranged the villain. Today I want to do one more hand reading, and the goal is to get 2 in a row of accurate hand reading, you know. So we did the button where we were calling. Let's look at the big blind where we do some calling. Now you could see some of these hands we've already done the hand reading for them. So we're going to be, probably most of these are out of position. Maybe if we encounter a hand big blind versus small blind. But let's just take a look here in the big blind, looking for some good activity. I don't like all this river checking stuff. Look at this, 3 streets, call, check, call, check, call, check, call. What am I check calling the whole way? And what is the opponent just betting on an ace-high flop the whole way? I don't want to see all these river checking hands. I want some action. Already did this hand. Call, check, raise, bet. Would have been a decent hand. A hand where we're calling all the way. 1 raise and 1 caller, so there might be actually 3-way. Who knows what we get to showdown like that. Call, 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 and then bet at the river. Maybe I'm throwing in a final river bluff, or maybe going for some value if I hit a hand or something. Let's look at this hand. Maybe promising. So, as it starts out, let's do this first. 878, 578. Going to give it the 66 days tag right here. Cool. So in this hand, we had the cutoff and the button already fold. Now we've got kind of an unknown looking loose aggressive at 30 through 27, but only 15 hands. He min opens and I just call. Okay, we don't know much about the guy. Let's see what we can possibly glean from the stats. No chances to raise first in from the small blind. We don't know what he's about, but it is just a min raise. So I'm going to put him on a quite wide 2-bet range, or raise first in range pre-flop. Of course, we do this with the Flopzilla. Good, good. So 2-bet ranges here. Let's go with 45%. Let's see what this guy is min raising. He's looking very loose aggressive to start. He ends up betting every street, so let's give him some of this stuff. Maybe not that offsuit junk. Maybe he would just fold those. This is a 54% range. Let's give him all the suited 10s. Suited. Let's even do those suited. We don't need to include every suited hand here. All these crappy offsuits. I don't really want to include any of these. We include every king. Let's include every king. Okay, so we're giving this guy a min raise first in range of 60.5%. Pretty freaking big if you ask me. Oh, 61. 800 combos. 802. Pretty big. So, unknown SB lag opens. Min opens. We call. So what are we calling with here? He's an unknown, but if I have any kind of value hand, I'm not going to give myself, definitely not going to give myself any aces here. I think I'd be re-raising with all my aces. Re-raising with most suited connectors. Re-raising with most pocket pairs, like 7s or better, I'd be re-raising with. Maybe 6s or lower, I would just call right here. We do have a full stack. If we're set mining, we have position. If we hit a set, we could get some pretty good value with those baby pocket pairs. But 7s or better, I think I'd be raising. I think what I'll assign myself calling is some kind of a suited gapper in this instance. Let's give myself, last time I did a 9-8 suited, let's give myself a suited double gap. Let's say 10-7 suited is what I'm calling with here. Who knows? I mean, this is just one hand out of possibly hundreds I could have right here. But, you know, we got to assign some kind of dead cards on the flop. So if this is our range, if we do have a suited gapper, suited double gapper, we're looking at 44% equity. Suited connector, 45%. Suited gapper was 45%. Suited connector, 48%. Pretty good. What about if it was even higher, like a queen 9 suited double gapper? Oh, 50%. That's great. So queen nine against such a wide range, we're looking at a full 50-50. Even queen 8 suited is about a 49-50. So there are a ton of hands that we can call where we have plenty equity to be calling this guy. Just look at the math here. All we need is 25% equity. What is the worst hand that we can think of? Deuce 7 has 31% equity. What about, I mean, even 9 deuce would be even higher than that, 33. What about like a deuce 4 offsuit? 32% equity, deuce 3 offsuit, 31% equity. Whoops, not pocket deuces, deuce 5. So probably the deuce 3 at 31% equity. So literally just thinking mathematically, we should be calling with 100% of our range here. Just mathematically, because we only need 25%. But, of course, that's hot and cold equity. That's before the flop hits. We want to actually constrict our calling range. We don't want to call any 2 cards. We'd prefer calling maybe like top 80%, top 70% kind of a range. But we'll go with, I think I said 10-7. Yeah, so we'll stick with the 10-7. All right, what is the action here? Ace 8-6, spade heart club. On this board, you can see our opponent has tons of aces. We have the gut shot draw, backdoor flush draw, if we do have a 10-7. So currently, our opponent's range, with every single pair in their range, all these aces, even all these different king-high hands, currently the range is at 64% equity. So pretty strong flop for him right there. And of course, he was the pre-flop raiser. I just called, I don't have any aces in my range. Most likely not, at least. So he could just easily rep this ace, and we should be folding quite a bit of our range. But we decided to call. Maybe we're playing our position, playing to steal from him later on, playing because we hit a monster hand and we're slow playing, which I don't think we should do. If I hit a monster here, like a set of 6s or 8s, I should be raising to start building the pot. But what is he half pot c-betting here? Yes. 2 pairs, yes. Top pairs, yes. Pocket pair below, sure, why not? The ace high should scare me off of my hand. Mid pairs, all those 8s, yeah, sure. Whoops, wrong button. I think those would be c-betting. All these weak pairs now, all these random 6s, third pairs, even pocket 7s, a third pair. Ooh, 5s and below, fourth pairs, all this stuff. You know, we just don't know enough about the guy. I would think that a lot of these, and it's just a tiny half pot bet, right? Making the same bet he made pre-flop. A lot of those could be betting. I'm not going to say the no-made hands, just all the random crap that's below the ace. Let's at least say that those aren't automatically c-betting. Gut shots. You know, I don't want to just say the 2-card backdoor flushes are betting, but I bet a lot of them are. I mean, it's tough with this with so many no-made hands and so many 2-card backdoor flushes. I mean, what do I really get rid of out of this range? I kind of want to stick to weak pairs and gut shots, but I bet you some of these no-made hands are calling. Let's give him those at least. Let's give him those possibilities. Let's not say something like queen 9 offsuit with just it's one of the no-made hands. Let's say that those are not c-betting here. They could, but let's just say that they're not. Got to narrow to something, and we could take the time and go through every single little hand. But I think in general, a lot of these other things are included in our 2 cards, our gut shots and over open-ended straight draws and stuff. We'll just stick with that. So 70% range, continuing or making the c-bet. Yeah, continuation betting. 446, 71. So if this his flop range, 476, and if we do have the backdoor flush draw plus a gut shot, we're currently at 34% equity. It's definitely enough to be making this call. So, whoops, where is it at? No, right here. So before we make that call, we only need 25% equity. We have 34%. Plus we have position. So with a wide part of our range, if he chooses to check the turn, we can come out with the turn bet to take it down. Jack of diamonds hits. Doesn't really change much. Doesn't add a flush draw. Doesn't complete any straight draws. Sure, it could give somebody a second pair or even possibly like a 2 pair with a jack 8 kind of thing. But that's really, it doesn't affect much on the board. But as you can see, with our 10-7 because it didn't add anything to our hand right here. It's not a spade, it's not a 10, it's not a 7, it's not a 9. Even a 6 would have been good. I mean, it's not even a 6, so I'm not a 6, a 5 for an open ender. It doesn't help our range at all, so our equity drops to 21%. What happens? A buck, so just another half pot bet again, and I just call in this instance. What is doing a second barrel? Now, shouldn't be scared of anything. If they were going for value on the flop, they really should be going for value again. And maybe they think we're only calling a half pot bet because it is an ace high board, and maybe he thinks we have an 8 or a 6. He has an ace. He's trying to get value out of us. So he could have made it $1.25, $1.50, even $2 with an ace to try to get more value. But I can see at least weaker top pair hands betting just a buck again. So no straights. Are his sets betting just $1? I don't think so. I think sets are betting more to try to get more money in. I would think so, because the jack's not a scare card. If another ace came, if a king or a queen came, maybe that would be a scare card, but not a jack. So I think sets are raising more or betting more. Two pairs, what are they? Oh, he has jack 6, 8, 6. Oh, all the two pairs. He's got every single type on this board in his range. I really don't think ace jack is betting just half pot. Even ace 8 or ace 6. Let's take those out of the range. Let's give his two pairs weaker two pair hands that could be making another half pot bet. I think the ace high two pair hands would be, or aces up hands. I think those would be betting more. Now top pairs. Once again, I mean, it's just a tiny half pot bet. The guy's loose aggressive. Let's say he's going for more value with these. Maybe these undercards now, maybe he's not going for more value right there. So let's go with that. Pocket pairs below, sure, those are betting as a bluff. Mid pairs, jacks, yeah, sure, why not? They just now hit a pair and making just a half pot bet again. We could have called on the flop with an 8, with a 6, with pocket 9s or pocket 10s. His jack currently beats, sure, why not? Weak pairs. All those different 8s. Just betting half pot. I really think all those could be betting half pot again. Just to continue betting again, hoping that I fold a king or a queen or a 10 or a 9 that can hit on the river. I would think is happening. Let's see here. No, open ender. Open enders could be betting. Yeah, totally. Gut shots. King, queen, king 10. Yeah, sure. Why not? There's not that many of them. Let's say that those are betting again for a turn double barrel. So we're looking at 75%. 328 combos. Not bad. So we've taken him by his double barreling here from 800 to 328. So we've removed half of his hands. And remember, he's out of position too. So that could dissuade some people to not double barrel that often. But not a lot of hands, but he is loose aggressive so far. So we can at least stereotype him as a possible double barrel bluffer. 4 of hearts on the rivs. Now, this doesn't change anything, I'm sure. 7-5 just now hit a straight. Ace 4, one of his weaker two pair hands on the turn that just decided to bet half pot again, now hit 2 pair. But really, it's not much of a difference. Now, if we do have the 10-7, we got squat, we got 10 high, we're only winning 4% of the time right here. So, he decides to check. This is great. So, what is he, I guess he check calls. Okay. Well, last time, day 45 of 66, I looked at the range that if I was value betting is going to give me a call. Let's look at the range right now. Let's think about a river range that is, well, we might as well do it again. Check calling. Yeah. What is his check calling range? Straights are totally not check calling. They're either betting or check raising, which most likely, because we showed passivity pre on the flop and on the turn, he's betting on the river if he hit a straight just now. His sets, why would he be scared? He wouldn't be scared of the 4, thinking we have 5-7 the whole way and just check calling. I think with the set, he would bet out to not get value from us checking behind all of our random king high and 10 high and 9 high hands, or even pocket 8s. Like, why would he? Yeah. Because those kinds of hands we could call on the river, a small value bet again. So, yeah, there's no way he's check calling with those 2 pairs now. Is he check calling with any 2 pair? I don't see a reason to. Not ace 4. It's the ace with the 2 pair, and we've showed weakness the whole way. Jack 8, just check calling 2 pair? I don't think so. Jack 6, Jack 4. You know, I'm really not a fan of him check calling any of these. I think all of those have got to be betting for value on the river. Now, these random top pair hands, he could be scared of the jack. Maybe we slow played an ace king or ace queen. Maybe he is check calling all these under kickers, all the 10s or below. So I will give him the top pair as a check calling range. Pocket pair below, totally check calling. Mid pairs, yep, check calling. Not believing that we hit the ace on the flop because we played it passively, not believing that we hit the jack. He could be calling with those mid pairs right there. But not necessarily wanting to bet for value, you know. And even those top pairs, I mean, would they just bet for value? Well, he didn't improve to a 2 pair. Maybe he's a really river honest player. We don't know enough about him yet. So let's say that those are possibly check calling. Weak pairs? Yeah, sure. We showed weakness on the 2 streets. What did we bet on this river? Just $2? Yeah, those are calling. Check calling. No made hands. All of those are folding, I think. So I think in the end, his check calling range is 233 combos at 73% of his prior streets range. 233? 233. Sweet. All right. So if we are bluffing with a hand like 10-7, this guy is calling so much. He had 318 combos. He's only folding 1/3 of the time. It's not a good bluff at all. If we wanted to bluff, because so much is calling, we'd probably have to make it a full pot size bet. At a minimum, like $3 or $3.50. But I bet $4 or even $5 could get some of these weak pairs to fold. If he could fold these, he's down to just 100 combos that's continuing. So we would definitely have to bet bigger to make him fold those weak pairs. But just the $2 bet is not good enough to fold out most of his weak hands here. It's not really a good bluff hand. So I'm hoping I'm not bluffing. I hope I'm just getting value on this river. Maybe I rivered 84 2 pair, 64 2 pair or something. He calls. Ace 5. Oh, I slow play the top pair weak kicker. And a queen 8. Oh, he called with a queen 8 suited, which I think is in his range. Yep, queen 8 suited right there. So he called with a... actually, it's a weak pair hand that he called. Yeah, because we showed weakness on the flop by just calling right there and then just calling the turn as well. He just didn't think we had an ace. He thought he was good. So this is great. We got some nice value from this player by just pot controlling. I don't want to say slow playing because we didn't have like a monster hand. It's not like we checked with intent to raise in the future or anything. But we basically just kind of pot controlled. We had our top pair hand on the, let me see, ace, what was it? Ace 5 of clubs. Well, we could just look at this. So on the ace, sure, backdoor weak straight draw, backdoor flush draw with the top pair. Totally worth calling, not necessarily worth raising. If we would have raised right there on that ace, he could have easily folded and we missed out on the turn and the river value. But just by calling, under-repping our hand, we were able to pot control while at the same time get him to commit more money on the turn and then ultimately the river. So that was the flop. On the turn comes the jack of diamonds. Great. That didn't help us at all. Maybe he has 2 pair ace jack now. Maybe he has jack 8 for a 2 pair as well. Who knows? So we do just decide to call. It's not like we want to bloat the pot right now. Now, when he decides to check, great, we've got our value hand, we've got our top pair. He can call, in my mind, he can call with any jack, any 8, possibly even any 6. So we make the bet, and he calls, shows us an 8. I think that was a well-played hand. Too bad it didn't go runner clubs because we would have bashed his brains in and doubled up against him. But all in all, as it played, $8 pot, lovely, 32 big blind, or well, 7.5, so 30 big blind pot right there. Lovely stuff. Alrighty, y'all, thank you very much for joining me for another day of hand reading, day 46 of 66. Come back later, day 47.